Hello chess friends and welcome to your of Chess channel and welcome back to the Tata Steel Masters in 2023. So we are now in the most exciting moment of this chess event. We're now in the last round of this epic chess tournament, and we have a really wild situation at the top. Before this last round, Nodirbek Abdusattorov was in the lead. He had half of the point more than Anish Giri, but Anish Giri won his game today against Richard Rapport. It was a game that we have covered already here on my YouTube chess channel. You can also check it out. Here's the link of the video. So this game between Anish Giri and Richard Rapport forced really some complications in this particular game that we're covering now between Nodirbek Abdusattorov and Jorden van Foreest, which means now Nodirbek has to play now a draw against Jorden van Foreest in order to force additional games against Anish Giri. This is now really the most heated, the most exciting moment of this chess event. Let's see now what happened in the game between Nodirbek Abdusattorov and Jorden van Foreest. Really wild things happen. So let's check out now the game. Nodirbek opened with the move e4. Jorden van Foreest, the response was c5. The Sicilian knight to f3. We have now the French Sicilian with the move e6 after d4, c takes d4, knight to d4, and now after move knight to c6 we have the so-called Taimano variation of the Sicilian defense. So here the continuation, knight to c3, queen to c7, and after bishop to e3, a6 prevents of course this annoying knight to b5. We have now the move queen to f3, and in some occasions White is trying to launch a flank attack. Of course, he's preparing queenside castling, then would play h4, g4, and similar stuff. Knight to c6, maybe releasing a little bit of pressure on the queenside. So these are the main strategic and also tactical goals for White. And Jorden van Foreest prevents this flank attack ideas were really an interesting choice with the move h5. When it comes to computer evaluations, it's maybe not the optimal move, but I liked really his choice because it's really a prophylactic idea. It's really sort of a wild idea already in the opening stage. And Jorden produced also some cool games in this chess event. Yesterday against Anish Giri, he produced really a wild attacking idea where he sacrificed the exchange but eventually only played a draw. I have to say it only because I think Jorden van Foreest was dominating all over the board. He should have really won the game against Anish Giri. Now with the move h5, he's already spicing up the game because you see now, okay, you have prevented something, but now you have many weaknesses in the position. Look at this, dark square weaknesses, light square weaknesses, so many squares of course that White can now attack in the position. So in the continuation, queenside castle, the normal plan of these types of structures. We have now the move b5. Of course, Black is continuing the pressure on the queen side, and now after move queen to g3 here, Nodirbek Abdusattorov is forcing trades of queens, because even if you play bishop to d6, if you play this kind of an idea, f4 is of course pretty good here for Black, for White, pardon me, and also the next couple of moves you can really be surprised maybe with the move knight to b5, maybe hitting the bishop on d6, the queen could be in danger. So that's why after move queen to g3 here, Jorden van Foreest also simplifies the game by playing queen to g3, and after h6 g3, okay, nothing spectacular. I think Nodirbek has a good game here, especially because of the h-file attack. The h-file is now opened and he has a solid position in the center of the board. As we said, Black has still some structural weaknesses, has some weaknesses of course in the position. So in the continuation, bishop to c5 played by Jorden van Foreest, we have now the move g4, and after bishop to b7, maybe now the first really unnecessary move by Nodirbek, f3. This maybe it's really not the optimal move. Maybe just force this line, rook to h5, rook takes h5, g takes h5, and after knight to f6, okay, you have to play probably h6 here, g takes h6, and now f3. But still, I think this is playable. You can really simplify the game afterwards with knight to f5, trading off the bishops, bishop to e2, rook to h1, maybe attack this pawn on h6. So maybe this was the way they go. I'm not sure, but as I said, f3 really unnecessary because here Jorden van Foreest had, I think, a great choice. Maybe to play the move h4, simply passing through, and I think this is a solid base for Black, because if you play g3, we can play bishop to d4, trading off everything on d4, and now with the move g5, we could support our h4 pawn here, and this could be maybe very annoying for White to handle now this passer on the h-file. So this was the way to go. But after move f3, Jorden plays also a little strange move, g6. He's trying to fix the pawn structure. Actually, as we said, he should have simply passed through, and I think he could have a solid game. But okay, here finally this move knight to f5, which is releasing the tension here around the square d4. In the continuation, knight to e3. After knight takes e3, king to e7 was played by Jorden van Foreest, which is of course nothing spectacular. The queens are off the board, the bishops are off the board. The game is not so complicated, and that's why it's also very natural to stay with your king in the center, because this position could reach now in a couple of more moves the endgame stage, and when you reach the endgame stage you want to have your king in the center of the board. So far, as I said, all of the king is in the center, but it's really not endangered so much. So in the continuation, bishop to e2, d6, we have now the move g5, which is controlling of course this potential knight to h6 move, knight to f6. So here Nodirbek is not allowing Jorden to get out of with this knight. f6 now by Van Foreest, and now after f4 we have here f takes g5, and after f takes g5, okay, you still have this idea, you have still this control of the f6, you still have the control of the h6, but you have a double pawn structure now. And from this point on, I think black has equalized the game at least. I think this is a solid game for black, especially because of this move, knight to e5, that Jorden is using now. Look at this. He has now this powerful centralized knight. He has also a beautiful activity of the light square bishop. And in the next couple of moves, he could also play some ideas of b4, and of course also hitting the knight on e4. So now rook to d4 was played by Nodirbek. He's protecting his pawn on e4, and now already strange again choice maybe by Jorden van Foreest. I think knight to f7 is here solving every positional tactical problem for black. I think you have to go for this pawn. From this point on, I think black should be even slightly better. This line leads into really complications after something like rook to d1, rook to d8. Look at this, e5 and similar stuff. So it's quite complicated, I think, for white to find really the best continuations. The next couple of moves, black is taking the pawn for sure on g5. So this structural weaknesses that Nodirbek created in the first place could cause him here really headache. Of course, here Jorden van Foreest didn't play maybe the most optimal line. He played first rook to d8, but now after rook to d1, now he tried this idea h4. He's trying to break and enter here with the move h3 and opening finally the h file and maybe get this rook somehow into the game. Again, maybe knight to f7 is also solid. Again, simply attacking this pawn. So Jorden had many times in the game this opportunity, missed his tactics with this move knight to g5. So as I said, he continued with the move h4. In the continuation now, knight to g4, knight to c6, hitting the rook, then after rook to d2, rook to h5, now finally attacking the pawn on g5 in a different way. So now e5, this move is creating now really a wild situation already, because of course if you take, then would simply pick up this one, rook to d8, knight takes d8, and now after knight to e5 or knight to f6, this could be really dangerous game for black. The knight is hanging. We have also the opportunity to get the rook on d7. The rook is hanging, so that's why e5 really a spectacular move here by Nodirbek Abdusattorov. Of course, this has to be prevented, so that's why d5, a beautiful move here by Jorden van Foreest. He's now locking the d file, and now a beautiful move again by Nodirbek, knight to e4. And this was the way to go. This is really the most optimal. This is really the most spectacular and suggested move by the Stockfish engine. This is really wild how Nodirbek saw this move. Incredible tactics. Look at this. From knight to e4, look what happens if you play d takes e4. This wasn't played in the game, but I really loved the fact that Nodirbek saw this idea. After d takes e4, look at this, rook to d8, knight to d8, and now knight to f6 comes with a beautiful discovery attack. If you play, of course, knight takes f6, e takes f6 comes with check. You have to step back and look at this, bishop to h5, g takes h5, and now we have two connected passers that are rolling. In some occasions, I think we can even sacrifice the rook for the exchange and just let this pawn rolling. So it's really a lost game here already for black. So that's why after knight to e4, Jorden van Foreest kept it calm. He played now bishop to c8, controlling first everything here on the back rank, and controlling also his weaknesses. And in the continuation now comes really the critical moment of the game. Here Nodirbek plays now the move knight to f6, and it's a mistake, because what Nodirbek should have played is actually knight to f2. He should have played a retreating move. Retreating moves are really the most annoying moves to find. They're hardest to find, of course, in the game, because you basically, it seems so that you're not doing anything, but after move 9 you have to actually, the rook is hanging, and what of course Black could do is this idea: d takes e4, again with similar tactics, but again rook to d8. Look at this, knight to d8, bishop to h5, g takes h5, and look at this with knight to e4. This could be a good game now for white, although Black has two minor pieces for the rook, but with knight to f6, knight to d6, we're getting into the game for sure. So as I said, with the move knight to f6 now that Nodirbek played instead of knight to f2, here Jorden van Foreest is saying, okay, I don't have to react, I'll just get out of the attack. It's now a different story. I don't have to even play some wild tactical lines here. Simple retreatment, and you see now still there is a tension on around the square e4. So now Nodirbek has to make a reaction. He found this line, knight to g8, knight to g8, and after knight to f6 we have here of course this kind of an idea. But again, you don't have to react here. Again, Jorden van Foreest simply retreats, and nothing spectacular is going on now in this position. This knight is powerful on f6, but we have to say it, the pawn on g5 is still weak, the pawn on e5 is weak. So from this point on, actually the game is turning around. I think from this point on, Black should be much better. So as I said, let's go back. Let's go really to this critical move. Knight to f2 instead of knight to f6 would have been here the best continuation for Nodirbek Abdusattorov. So let's go back. So as we said, after knight to f6, here we have rook to d8. Simple retreatment. The pawn is hanging on e5. The pawn on g5 is weak. So as I said, it's now complicated really for Nodirbek to play the game. So in the continuation, we have now rook to e1 here by Nodirbek Abdusattorov. He's trying to protect his pawn on e5 with some tactical possibilities, because if knight to e5 happens, then of course bishop to b5 could be a good continuation. Then of course also the knight is hanging, but actually here knight to e5 has to be played by Jorden van Foreest. Jorden missed here really his opportunities immediately in the game. Knight to e5 is quite spectacular. Look at this. If you play now bishop to b5, you don't have to react. You don't have to pick up the bishop. You just play h3. And if rook to e5 happens, then we play h2. So you cannot step back. You lose the decisive material. So it's simply not working. So if you play here, for instance, g takes h3, look at this. The knight to f3 leads into a beautiful fork against both of these rooks. So again, the game should be over. Really wild stuff. What could have happened in the game. Knight to e5 was, in my opinion, even already the winning move for Jorden van Foreest. But okay, he didn't see that. He played h3 with still great attacking opportunities. In the game, we have now g takes h3, rook to h3, and now bishop to g4. Although bishop to d3, I think you have to play. Maybe you lose some pawns here, but at least you're attacking also the pawn on g6. So I'm not sure what happened here with Nodirbek. He played really too many mistakes, I think, in his game. He should have realized that he needs only a draw. He should have maybe searched for tactical opportunities to maybe somehow slow down the pace of the game. Just go into drawish line, whatever you need to do. Maybe even sacrifice something just to get some kind of a simplified way to force a draw and maybe force additional games, because he had to realize, I think, that something went wrong in his game. So as I said, he played bishop to g4 instead of bishop to d3. Now Jorden van Foreest simply attacks the bishop here in the continuation. b3 was played by Nodirbek, and now rook to h8. It's now much easier, I think, for Black to play the game. Look at this. We have this beautiful rook battery. We have a healthy pawn structure here on d5. Although this knight is beautiful on f6, but it doesn't do anything. It's just there. It's not having support. It doesn't attack anything basically. In the continuation, we have now king to b2, rook to h2, rook to e2, rook takes e2, rook takes e2, and now after move a5 we have move a3. Now bishop to a6. Here Jorden van Foreest found a beautiful way how to get the bishop into the game. We have rook to e1, and look at this, b4, a4, and now a beautiful move again, knight to d8. From this square we can use, of course, again attacking chances. Maybe we can attack also the weak g5 pawn. And again, bishop to e2 was played by Nodirbek. Again, really not the best of moves. This move, I think, is now his biggest mistake in the game, because what he should have done is at least somehow to reroute the bishop where it can attack the pawn on g6. With the move bishop to e2, he's simplifying the game now too much, because as we said, e5 is weak, but also here the g5 is weak, and here Jorden is simply accepting the challenge. He says, okay, we can trade off now the bishops, but how are you going to protect now both of these pawns? So this is not working. So instead of this move bishop to e2, you have to play at least bishop to f3, somehow staying with the pieces on the board after something like knight to f7. There is maybe even this tactic: bishop to d5, e takes d5, knight to d5, maybe king to e6. And look at this, at least you have this kind of a tactic, knight to c7 and similar stuff. So maybe complicating things could have solved many headaches here for white, but he played, as I said, the move bishop to e2, which goes in black's favor. The game is now simplified: bishop to e2, rook to e2, knight to f7. From this point on, the game is simply a one-way ticket. So c3, b takes c3, king to c3, knight takes g5. It's not very easy for Jorden to continue here in the game. b4, rook to h3. Look at this, the king has to step back. We have not even this one. a takes b4. So here we have 4 pawns versus 2 pawns, and this is now completely winning endgame here for Jorden van Foreest. So rook to c2, we have now even this idea. Look at this, knight to f3. We are attacking also the e5 pawn. In the continuation, knight to g4, we have knight to d4, rook to c8. Now a check, the king has to step back, rook to a3, and we take another pawn. Really wild stuff. So in the continuation, after move knight to f6, okay, you can spice up the game by maybe creating some checks, but no perpetuals are possible. So as I said, from this point on, it's really lost game here for Nodirbek Abdusattorov. So after knight to f6 here, Jorden van Foreest played the easy b3, and actually in this position, Nodirbek Abdusattorov resigned. Really wild stuff. Nodirbek lost in his last game, in a game that he should have simply played a draw somehow, and he could be the winner of the Tata Steel Masters in 2023. Unfortunately for him, he lost now his game. I'm a little bit sad, but I'm not sad that Anish Giri won this tournament, but this was simply, I had this feeling this was simply Nodirbek's tournament, and now he missed it. Although Anish Giri had also some great chances in the last Tata Steel events, where he also lost in an unfortunate way. Now at least he has a little bit luck, where he lost some games previously. So really great tournament it was. Nodirbek lost it, but still I think Nodirbek deserves all of our respect. He played an outstanding tournament. He won his game against Magnus Carlsen with the black pieces. He finished now on the second place, which is an incredible result for someone that's only 18 years old. Incredible performance. He gained also many rating points in this chess event, and we can expect Nodirbek Abdusattorov to be in the next couple of months in the top 10 for sure. Unfortunately, he missed now his great chances in this event, but in the next couple of Tata Steel chess events, be prepared. This will be simply, I think, Nodirbek Abdusattorov's time. So congratulations to Anish Giri. A really great tournament he played. He didn't lose any games in this chess event. He outplayed also Magnus Carlsen with a great tactical sequence. Incredible performance. And if you have followed maybe the previous Tata Steel chess events, then you know that unfortunately 2 years ago Anish Giri missed his great chances against Jorden van Foreest in the super final of the Tata Steel Masters. Now he gets his trophy that he deserved many times, and Anish Giri is now the winner of the Tata Steel in 2023. Great result. Congratulations again. Really great event we have seen, with beautiful winning games, with cool tactical ideas, with theoretical improvements, with really immortal tactical shots. Magnus Carlsen finished now on the 3rd place, which is also not such a bad result when we think about it harder. He finished the event only with half of the point less pardon me, less than Anish Giri, which is still a great result. But Magnus Carlsen missed his wins against Anish, and also against Nodirbek in the decisive games. He lost 2 decisive games, and then afterwards he tried to make something. He forced some great wins. He played attractively, but this was simply not his tournament. Still, of course, a great result, finishing on the 3rd place. So, as I said, this is now our last game of this chess event. I hope that you also like my coverage. In my opinion, really beautiful tournament we have seen. I was really satisfied to cover this one, because incredible games we have seen for sure. So see you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.